Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back to another Mental Health Monday here on Even Tacos Fall Apart. I am excited for our guest today. Today's guest is Sebastian Siren. He is a DJ, producer, creative director based in New York who goes by Siren. Do you pronounce like the extra S in that? Is it like a snake there or just
No,
Siren? Okay, all right, cool.
it's
Sort
just
of
it's the Sebastian part.
yeah,
But
no,
yeah, I
I'm
guess Sebastian.
that's great. No, that's great. I mean, listen, you could have like a giant snake tattoo and be really there, but uh
Yeah.
so his sound blends house, indie dance, and trance into what he describes as techno temple ritual. We're going to talk about that today. Music as ceremony, sound as medicine, but beyond the decks, Sebastian is someone who talks openly about burnout, mental health, identity, rebuilding yourself when the industry you love starts to break you down. We've talked about the entertainment industry and mental health before. You'll know that is a huge, huge thing in the industry. So he really believes that music isn't just entertainment, it's a tool for healing, for getting out of your head and back into your body. And today we are driving into exactly that music as somatic release and emotional processing. So, Sebastian, welcome to Even Talk Us All Apart.
Thanks for having me. I'm so excited. Like, I think this is such a fun idea, and I'm just super passionate about the same things you are. So yeah, we're just gonna like hang out and have a good chat, honestly. And shout out to the community. So welcome to everyone. Nice to connect with you.
Yeah. If you guys have any questions, feel free to pop them into the chat. We will make sure to get to them and answer them while we are here and live. I do have some ways that you can connect with Sebastian. Here's a couple of links for you. I've got Instagram, YouTube, SoundCloud, and then a link tree with a ton of stuff. Like if there's anything you're looking for, go to that link tree because boy, does it have everything. I do mean everything on there. So make sure you go and check it out. And as you go in and you're connecting with him, make sure that you are liking a post, you are retweeting or reposting a post, and that you are commenting on a post as well. That engagement is really what drives the algorithm to love, love, love creators. So make sure you're doing at least three things on every platform that you're connecting in there with for sure. So Sebastian, I would love to know what inspired you to start sharing your story.
Um, so in general, like I used to keep things pretty separate. I have been, I think I went down like a what one would call like just the mental health content, books, therapy. It all started in like 2019 after like originally it was like a relationship bad breakup that led me to therapy, and then it ended up becoming like I was like, wow, all of this seems like just like hacks for life. Like I feel like we should have read some of these books that my therapist was giving me. It's just about interpersonal relationships. Just like my main goal was like, how do I create more harmony in my life? How do I um, just create more balance? And this led to just like it started with interpersonal relationships and then getting to know yourself, and then it went into just like whatever I feel like interested in reading in. And so I'm always, if I'm at Barnes and Noble in New York, it's like, which is still a thing, it's big there or here, I guess. I always stop by like it used to be called self help section, but now it's called self expansion, I think, which I
Oh,
love.
I
So
like
that's how I
that.
got into
Yeah.
it. And I honestly started like um, I was just like, let me just integrate this into like my brand, like my music brand, because the anchor is really the music. But I wanted to talk more about like it's not just a party, like that's part of it if you want, like whatever. Like people I learned over the years come to whether it be raves or they go dancing with friends or they sit at home and listen to music. They're doing it for different reasons. Not everybody there is there to be like raging basically, and it really opened my eyes to um, it being a bit more than that and connecting with people beyond just like, hey, listen to my tracks or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just genuinely really passionate about it. And like the more I go through life, and I'm sure like you can relate, like everyone's gone through stuff. And the more the people I connect with the most are the people who like don't let life beat them down. They like experience it. They somehow learn to move through it and find resources and community and friends and books. And then you slowly like evolve, and like life is cyclical a lot of times. But I was just like, why don't we just like talk about this, because this is like very much a part of my brand, or just a part of myself. Like I am the musician and I am the person who reads books about mindfulness and somatic healing and all that stuff. So that's really like the background on it. And, it's refining how we talk about it. Like for a while, like, the algorithm, not to like worship the algo, but like it's hard because you get suppressed for like having too many like facets. So it was
Mm-hmm.
about, okay, like how can I talk about this in a more organic way? So it's like finding people like you who have a platform where we can just talk about stuff we're passionate about, and then knowing that like my community, like they can DM me, like, or at parties or events, like they'll see, aspects of my real life in them. And so I think that just in general creates a more real community, because at the end of the day, like that's like my goal is it's not to just like hawk music at people. It's like to actually connect with people on a deeper level that's like nonverbal. It's like literally like energetic connections. That's really kind of where it stemmed from. And it's just become a literal integration of like when I show up online or in person.
I really love that Barnes and Noble changed their self-help section to self-exploration. I think that's really neat. And just the like recognition of self-help has a little bit of a stigma, but so many of those books, and I feel like every time I'm on here talking to someone, I have a new book recommendation. I used to write them in a little notepad, and it got to a point where I was like, my notepad is too full of book recommendations, and so now I've got them all on Goodreads so that I have my want to read list. And it's like every time there's someone who's like, okay, you gotta read. I mean, the biggest one that always comes up is The Body Keeps a Score. Like that just comes up over and over and over and over. And so I put these on this huge list, and now I'm looking at it going, I'm never gonna read. I'm never gonna have time to read all of these books, but I wish that I could. But then again, you meet and you connect with people who have read other things and who have done these other kinds of research, and it's a big part of why I do this show is just I don't know everything. There's no way I'm going to know everything. I'm not a music expert. I played French horn in high school. That's all I got. So like just being able to talk to someone who has done a little bit more reading, a little more research, a little more looking into it, and has a different understanding than you, I think is a huge bonus whenever you go on and you share kind of your side of the story with folks. So I'm really glad that you did start sharing your story for sure.
Yeah, and like book wise, like honestly, like I loved. I've shared something over the summer. Like I try to do seasonal. I realize I don't. I read a lot in the winter. It's like I used to be like I go in waves. It's like I just realized I'm reading a lot, and I'm like, all right, cool. Instead of pressuring myself to read, so I shared a post about like what I read over the summer. Didn't do well. Doesn't matter, because basically my theory is if somebody's scrolling and they find it and they're like, oh cool, like that's what it's for. Like I'm basically like
Yeah.
sharing this as like resource. Like if you like this, here's why I liked it. If you end up liking it, great. Like um one that I actually recently got rid of a lot of my I call self-help books, because I was like, all right, this is getting out of control. Only the ones that you are gonna reread, like the ones that really changed your life.
Yeah.
And so I left them all in like different, those like neighborhood library little
Oh, the
cabinets.
little libraries, is that what they're called? Yeah.
Yeah, like you take or leave, and so I kind of scattered them around Brooklyn.
I love that.
um, yeah, and I was like, and while in doing that, I found a couple, and I was like, all right, like you don't need to acquire the same number of books you just gave away, but one of the ones I kept is All About Love, which is by, oh my gosh, I'll have to Google it. It's so bad. I need to look this up. Bell Hooks. So good. It's basically just like the notion that like love is an act, it's a verb, it's not a noun, and it's about how you show up in the world and how you perceive love on various levels. And so it just kind of can permeate anything: work, casual interactions, actual romantic love, platonic, and then anything by Brene Brown. Like she was actually one of
Yes.
the gateway drugs to like the lands. And I always might joke with friends and people. I'm like, just Brene Brown that shit. What's the best thing is really like one of my quotes.
I love that. Yeah, Brene Brown, and I posted a couple links there for you. First of all, if you don't know what Little Free Library is, go check it out because it's amazing. And there could be one near you that you're not aware of. And like the scouts do these little programs all the time where they go and they build one as like a Girl Scout, Boy Scout
I
project,
love
and then they put them in neighborhoods and everything. So easily could be one near you that you're not aware of. And if you have too many books and you're not going to go sell them at half price books or whatever, feel free to like go stock up one of the little libraries. I think it's a really cool thing.
yeah.
But then there's Brene Brown's website and also a link to that book all about love. So go check those out for sure. Do you have a true crime story that fascinates you?
I love it's a funny question. So I don't. So I'm actually it's like one of the one genres I stay away from. It like I am it's weird. I'm like really into like what how do I describe this? Like if a vampire horrifically kills someone, it doesn't bother me. But
Uh-huh.
like if I hear about a real life thing, it is like deeply disturbing to me.
Yeah.
So I just can't. And my best friends love it and they just know not to send it to me. But you know it's okay. I was like, all right, like I'm actually more into like vampire lore and vampire books and like the occult, anything that's
Yeah.
magical and like dark. I'm
Mm-hmm.
very my brand is heavily inspired by like Anne Rice and like Blade, and we've kind of balanced it out a bit. It's less dark now because I'm not all doom and gloom, but like there's vampiric energy in the sensuality, the kind of power play. I'm really, really into that. It's very, there's this no, it's very, I'm a romantic at heart, so it's very romance driven. So I tend to steer away from true crime and hang out in like Anne Rice land,
Yeah.
which has similar themes, you know, like some mystery and all that stuff. But no, not my jam.
I'm gonna have to look up. I read a book. It was a while ago. I'm pulling up on my Goodreads right now to see if I can find it, but it was a while ago. I feel like I didn't whenever I started reading it, I didn't realize it was a vampire book. I love vampire books, I love vampire shows, vampire movies, like
Yeah,
it's all good.
same.
But when I started reading it, I didn't realize what it was. I think it was this one. I think it was Sunshine. Yes. It was Sunshine by Robin McKinley. It was, and it really took me by surprise because it was recommended to me by someone, and I just took the recommendation at face value and read it as my next book. Like, no big deal. Okay, fine. You think I should read this book? I'll read this book, which has bit me in the butt more times than I can say. But in this case, it was fantastic because I went in totally blind to it, and it was so good. And you're talking about like the love side of it and the romantic side of it. And this isn't when I say romance, I don't mean like romantasy type stuff, but
Yeah.
true like my soul has love for the world around me kind of thing. It's such a good book and it really caught me by surprise. So if you haven't read that one, I definitely recommend it. I don't even remember when I read it. This was a while ago.
Oh yeah, I love it.
2023. I read it in 2023. Yes. So I said, strongly suggested for adult readers who are looking for something to read that reflects sometimes a fever dream, sometimes a mystery, sometimes a glimpse in the life story, and sometimes a paranormal, not quite thriller. So it's wild. It was so good. It was so good. Definitely recommend it if anybody hasn't read that one. It was very good. Yeah, and I think there are people who are into true crime, and then there are people who just are like, that's not my thing. Especially what you said about the if it's real. I think that takes up a different space in your mind than if it's just a fiction, a work of fiction. And people will read all kinds of stuff in fiction that they would never tolerate in real life.
Yeah. I also live in New York City, and I'm like, I don't need any additional ideas to bother me while I'm
Fair.
walking home at 4 in the morning.
Yep. Totally fair.
But yeah, it's a phenomenon. My whole group of friends. I mean, it's specifically like very popular with women. I don't know why,
Hmm.
but like my friends like I listened to it before bed. I was like, what?
Yes. 100%.
They're like, what? I cannot. I was like, I'm listening to like ambient, like frequency music. I'm like, I cannot. It makes me
Yeah,
laugh.
yeah. No, I mean there is a theory around why it's so much more popular for women. The theory is that we already have a lot of really dark things on our mind, and hearing someone else give voice to that is a huge
Mm,
driver of like okay, yeah, it's okay to think about these things because other people are already thinking about them. Whenever you're having to think about your safety all the time when you're walking down the street, and then you hear about someone who wasn't thinking about their safety when they were walking down the street, like it's that kind of
Oh,
reframes it a little bit into like, okay, so I'm not crazy for thinking about all of this, right? Okay, good. All right,
true.
cool. So, getting into our topic tonight, you describe what you do as techno temple ritual, sound as ceremony. Can you take us back to when you first kind of felt that framing and you had that snap into place for you? How did that happen?
Yeah, so it's something that's like I use it not as much as I used to, but I'm trying to now find like I talk about it when it's like the right audience or the right
Mhm.
platform. So this makes sense. Because I am very spiritual and very like I like to research the esoteric, I research the occult. I mean, it stems from the vampire thing, but in general, like I spend a lot of time researching and genuinely reading and practicing and researching metaphysics of all kinds, specific to like sound healing. So a lot of somatic healing. I used to live in Los Angeles for 10 years, and so that's just like pervasive in the culture there. And same place with, it's here in New York too, but similar with Miami would be another place that it's popular. It's like beyond meditation, these are like, and it's also mostly scientifically proven where it's sound is like everything is frequency. Everything is emitting frequencies. Even humans have frequencies that they are emitting. When you are listening to, especially electronic music, it is it's global for a reason. You can go to any place in the world, even a tiny little village, and if you are good at Reddit or whatever platform, you will find an electronic community. It will happen. It is a it is a genre of music that transcends just humanity, reality, everything, because it is literal sound through your ears, as well as if you're in like a physical space where they have a sound system to support it, it's highly physical. Um, and what's fascinating about when you go to electronic events, when it's curated well, meaning all of the DJs have a similar style, not the same, but similar
Sure.
in genre, in BPM, which is beats per minute, which dictates how fast the music feels. Generally, like house music is the most popular because it's very easy to experience because it's not crazy, it's not too slow and vibey where it's a lounge. They've actually proven that when you're dancing to house music, which is around 128 BPM, so beats per minute, that's like generally the playground for that. Um, it's the same rhythm as like your heart at like a slightly elevated level, your heartbeat. And then in addition, my most favorite thing is the DJs are not just playing, like a DJ who curates a night. And mind you, it's electronic music. So I'm not talking like stuff you hear on the radio. I'm
Hmm.
talking about like if you were to click on one of my SoundCloud links, they're 1 to 2 hours long. It's like an experience. Um, your brainwaves it's a collective human experience. At the audience, your brainwaves begin to sync with one another. So it's a co-regulation experience, which I find fascinating. I need to Google. I would have to Google it, but I have a book in the other room that talks all about this. It's a researcher from the UK, a PhD, who basically like talks about all of her research as it relates to this through her healing experience. Music basically healed a lot of. She had some autoimmune kind of complex situation going
Mm.
on. And so I started talking about like, so I'm very into history, I'm very into mythology, all of it across cultures. I read about, I literally am so passionate about it. I was like, this is so fascinating. Like a rave, and I use that term specifically. It's a rave is not anywhere that a DJ is playing. That's not a rave. A rave is usually a very large space where there's at least 150 people or more, and it's pure electronic music, very minimal lyrics. Like it's all electronic music. So if you think about it, it's truly all frequency and it's very primal. It's beat based. It's literally going back to the dawn of humanity dancing around a fire. To me, it is very akin to a Dionysian ceremony where it's controlled chaos. It's very similar to Hathor in ancient Egypt. I'm extremely into ancient Egyptian everything. Um, everything from the history, the politics, the day-to-day life, the magic, all of it. I truly believe that raves are essentially are a modern incarnation of sound rituals, and people are going there for all kinds of reasons. You're either there's a lot of people who are there who are just maybe trying to have fun and get shit faced, but there's actually a very high number of people that are there sober, um, alone with their friends, or just casually having just like 2 beers, where they are there literally to experience the music. And there's people who are like scenesters, just like any other group, where they go all the time. It's like their number one activity. I used to be one of those people. I can't physically do that anymore, which we'll talk about later. But this topic of like temple, techno temple, like I've brought in. Oh, I'm still techno heavy, but I've brought in so much. I've been in kind of a genre identity evolution recently in the past year, which is good. I think that creates flexibility. But when you're at a rave or like one of my shows, it's not unique to me. It's just like so, kind of like a tagline that I thought of that I think is really cool. You are literally entering like a temple, and people who are very, very, very into electronic music, they treat it like church. It's like I would call it. It's not weird, but like it's kind of like they're on a whole other level. Whereas some people just show
Mhm.
up and they are kind of there just to like have fun and do a night out. But even if you're just having a night out, or you're there because you want to, or because you love the artist, or you're there because you fundamentally know it's going to move something through you, um, whether it be, some DJs, for example, are very hardcore and they channel a lot of anger in their music. That's a great place to go work through anger. Like it's almost like subconscious, like it's moving through your body, you're feeling the emotions, you're maybe screaming, you're like doing like more aggressive dance moves, or you're going to something because you want to feel groovy and you want to connect with like love vibrations, and it's a lot slower, like frequencies of the music. And when I say frequency, I'm mostly just talking like you could just blanketly call it like the genre, like
Mhm.
the style of music that is going to evoke a certain kind of emotion, or a feeling, right? In your body, in your heart. You don't even need to be able to talk about it or articulate it. You just know that it feels good, or it feels a way that you're kind of looking to do. Um, that's really what that's all about. And so for me, it's for people, again, it's people who connect with that language. If you don't like that, fine. I don't care. Like, listen to my music anyway. Like, we can call it whatever you want. Um, it's not a religious experience for everyone, but for me, it very much is. Like, oftentimes when I see like a new DJ that I like sought out specifically, or last Friday I went and saw my muse, one of them. His name is David Lolane. He's from Stuttgart, Germany, and like, oh my god, like I fucking tears rolling down my like a moment. I had a moment, and that happens like more than you would think, and that is a sign of a really good DJ, where they're able to literally pull tears of joy, or whether they be sadness, it's release. Your
Yeah.
body's like literally, it's like you brought up the book, I wrote it down, The Body Keeps Score.
Yes.
That's exactly what I'm referring to. I have had like, let's say, lower back pain for 6 months straight that's becoming like debilitating, or just like
Mm,
really like that dull, ridiculous pain that just fucks you with your day.
yeah.
It doesn't like disable you. It's like really, really, really mentally and emotionally draining. I went to a rave and I danced for like 8 hours straight. And I woke up the next day with, by the way, people I love dearly, like very close friends. And I woke up the next day and my back was completely fine. Like,
Wow.
same. Like, this happens all the time. And so, and you don't even need to know or explain. Like, I like to talk, but you don't need to over explain anything. You could just be like, yo, I'm so grateful. Like, just being conscious of that payoff
Mhm.
is, I think, all you need to do. Your body has been like, thanks for doing that. I needed that. And just know that that now might be a resource for you to like seek out when you're having emotional or physical pains in your body. So that's kind of what I refer to, because it is, for many, it's a very it's more than just a concert or a party. It's
Yeah.
something that they're Like when I go with my friends, like we don't fucking talk. We literally just dance and like, hey, you good? I'm like, yeah, cool. I'll be back. All right, great. And I just like, it's like an individual experience, but with people. It's hard to describe, but that's kind of what it's like.
Yeah, I mean you're co-playing, right? Like you're playing
Mhm.
next to your friends essentially. It's
Yeah,
they do it with kids. Like you want to go and do something, you want to do it together, but maybe you're not even doing the same thing. Maybe you just want their company. Like that's fine. There's no problem with
yeah,
that. And it's a real thing that people can get a huge benefit from even as adults that I think the art of doing that has been a little bit lost.
yeah, yeah. And also, it's like, I think even for younger generations, like I'm a millennial, like older millennial, and like Gen Z struggles with like connection in
Mhm.
real life, for a variety of reasons. Whatever, it's unique to everyone, but it's like you can go like I love to dance. I'm a dancer first and then a DJ second. If I can't dance to my own music, it's crap as far as I'm concerned. So that would never happen. Like I'm not gonna play anything I'm not gonna dance to. I'm very into intuitive dance. My body, like I look like I know how to dance for sure, but I also at sometimes look crazy because I'm just like letting it flow. And that's how the things get released. You just let your body do its thing. And this is a place where I think people who are not comfortable, like we'll call it just like instead of acting a fool, it's just like just do whatever you feel like doing and like
Yeah.
nobody this is the place to do it because nobody's going to even look at you. Like
Mhm.
everyone's doing the same weird thing or just like whatever. And that's what I find really beautiful about it too is it's a place where you can just like kind of experiment with like being yourself, like a different kind of like
Yeah.
version of yourself that you don't feel comfortable. And that also helps because there's so many people there. You're
Mhm.
not like it's not about you. Like it's just like you're in a sea of oneness and you do feel that when you're grooving. You can look around and be like, oh my gosh, everyone is like lost in the music, which is also a great song, like a disco track. That's what it feels like when you're at one of these really good raves. And again, they're not all like this, so you have to really do
Mhm.
your research and look at the artist who's playing and whatnot, and the venue and whatnot, and what kind of people hang out there. But there's an electronic music for basically any kind of vibe and or community that you're looking for, and it's a great way to like you don't even have to talk to people. Um, but it's a great place generally to just be yourself, which I think is
Yeah.
really, really, really amazing.
Now you brought up generations. Whenever you're at one of these sets, can you like spot the different generations in the crowd usually?
Yeah, I think anyone who's over 35 is usually there. Like they're the ones dancing.
Mm.
Like I went to a Fat Boy Slim show. It was amazing. I went to the. I mean, it was a rave, but it's a concert. But like he plays his hits, but he also can DJ and he
Mhm.
creates the experience with the singles mixed in. Everyone was like over 35, and it was the greatest place. It was the greatest concert I've ever been to because there were no fights, nothing weird. Everyone was dancing. Everyone was just like high on life and friendly and talking to one another. And you meet people at the bar or outside. Very connection oriented. And it's not like hey, like you might not exchange info with people, but you at least connected in the moment, which is super
Yeah.
super important. Which I think in general all age groups are lacking nowadays. But like the younger generation, like it depends. Like they just like don't talk. They're in their little group and they don't talk to anybody. And then like
Yeah.
they're not very good in my opinion. This is not me talking shit. This is me observe. I like am always watching. I don't know. I'm basically like I have like 7,000 eyeballs and I'm just hyper aware of everything. I just don't think that they how do I describe this? It's like they just like feel like they put off and this is not everyone. How do I say this? I'm like they just need to relax a bit and fucking have a good time.
Yeah.
Like it's
Yeah.
super obvious, and they all dress the same. Raves are all about self-expression, and generally people default to like they dress like like whatever scene they're trying to dress up as, and it looks out of place. It
Mhm.
looks like it's wearing them. It's kind of like that fashion
Yeah.
quote, like so like it's like figure out like what you feel like wearing and like have a good time and like you can wear whatever you want to a rave from you can literally wear you can dress however you want, man. And I think they could embrace a bit more self-expression because I think that generation struggles with like the lemming effect where it's just
Mm,
like I think they feel so burdened with being cringe potentially. I hate that word. I don't think there's no such thing. Like, who cares? Like, do your thing, man. And if you get filmed, who fucking cares? Like, a lot of these parties also are no phone. They put like a sticker on your camera, um, so that helps. But I think like, and my favorite, by the way, generationally, is when I see like very like elderly. Like, there's like
yeah.
people who will be like there with a walker because they'll be like, I'm gonna like Bjork has a famous quote she talked about maybe like a year ago, and she was like, I'm gonna rave until I'm 90 and about to die. And I was like, yes, because she gets it. Like it's more than like, oh, I'm going to a concert. You're going to an experience in a community that's like visceral.
Yeah.
It's so unique. And so I think people will evolve as they get older, like everybody, but I miss seeing people who were like 25, like seeming like they're embodied and confident and at least living their life um, through expression instead of like couching themselves. I find that to be a little sad.
Yeah.
But I think it's just culturally like how their generation has kind of developed. But people will break out of that, and those that do will be
Yeah.
the what I call the like the beacons for other people to like do the same. That's why I dance like crazy at shows. I'm like, whatever. I call it like cutting the cake. Like, if the cake is not cut, no one's gonna eat the cake.
Mm-hmm.
Cakes are meant to be eaten, man. If that's at a
Yes.
party, cut that shit open. So if there's a dance floor, I'm like, let's go. Like, we're gonna go dance. And then people start dancing. So it's like, I do not give a fuck. I will dance however I want. And I don't care if I'm alone and everyone's watching me. That's even funnier.
Yeah.
So that's kind of like my whole like mantra is like just go and dance and have fun and like you could also stand in the back to like try it out and you don't even have to be in front of people. You could like vibe in the corner the whole night and like at least get a taste of it. I just want
Yeah.
people to try something new and like they will probably fall in love with things as long as they're trying new things.
Yeah. You brought up being an elder millennial. I am also an elder millennial, and my kids like to tell me that I am a geriatric millennial, which I didn't know is an actual term. They love teasing me about being quote unquote old. But the nice part about getting older is that you just stop giving a shit about what other people think about you necessarily, and you get a higher. I'll say you get a higher awareness of the fact that no one is paying attention to you.
Yeah,
No one is
fair
paying that
enough.
much attention. You think they're going to be looking at you and they're all looking at themselves. Like that's all they're doing. Like that's it.
Yeah,
That's all there is.
also, like I'll just default to Brene Brown because it's in her realm. But she's like, if someone's staring at you, like more often than not, it's because they're actually like admiring something about you
Yeah.
or they like something about you. It's usually I think we're trained to default to like it's a bad thing,
Yeah.
um, and it's usually not. And if it is, like, who fucking cares? Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
it says
But
more about them than you, honestly. You
yes,
know what I mean?
for
Like, you
sure.
gotta get, and in places like New York, people don't give a fuck about anybody. Like, nobody is looking at you. Like, it's the
Yeah.
best training ground. Any big city for the most part, but New York specifically, New York don't give a fuck, man. Like, they are not thinking about you.
Yeah.
It's,
Um, I want to make sure I say hello to your mama in 488. Your mama was talking about raves and ecstasy. Yes, I mean, there any scene you go to, you know, music or otherwise is going to have its share
yeah,
of uniqueness, and drugs sometimes are a part of it. And there you can look in my library of podcast episodes where we have talked about some things and mental health and the way that they can go hand in hand with
yeah,
healing, actually. So there's
yeah.
that. Not
I
saying do
actually
drugs.
Yeah, yeah. I actually believe that I actually have my best friend from childhood, still best friends. She's a psychedelic assisted therapist out
Yes.
in I broadly say Oakland, but like the Bay Area, the northern Redwood kind of part in California. And she specializes in ketamine, but I've not done it. My current therapist specializes in that. I've not done it yet, but it's like the intention because it facilitates like such a
Yeah.
deep, like, it facilitates like multi-year therapy in like sessions that are like so short compared to the years and the amount of money you would have to invest in and it's medically guided by a therapist and a medical
Mm-hmm.
practitioner. In terms of recreational use, I believe, and I'm not condoning anything, but like MDMA, when done in the right environments with the right people and the right safety protocols, truly is a healing, profound spiritual experience. It connects you to the frequency of love on such a deep level that it changes your life, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Um, it is so profound, and but it's very taxing on your body. It can be very
Mm-hmm.
dangerous, and it honestly, that's the thing in these scenes. Yeah, that's the reputation, is that it's just a bunch of druggies. But I think what people don't understand is like the people maybe who are doing MDMA at these shows, they do it like once a year, and it's for a very special occasion with like three people that they're extremely close with, and it's for an artist. It's a very intentional experience, and that's where we kind of get into this when I talked about scenesters. People who are there all the time, and we have questions about this later actually. Um, it becomes too much, and
Mm.
you like anything in life, you need to stay in the middle and stay balanced and realize like I'm all about intentional living. And that's also things like every student's got their different thing. So yeah, you will encounter that full transparency. That's not like some unknown reality about
Yeah.
raving. But that's sort of the mantra. It's like broadly, if you go high level, there's this saying called plur, Plur, and it's all about peace, love, unity, and respect. And that's like essentially the ethos of the entire like community, like globally. There's even like I haven't learned. There's like a hand thing you can like come up to somebody and like I don't remember how you do it, but it's basically like making a heart. And I do the
Yeah.
millennial heart, by the way.
I
I
I
can't
do
figure.
too. There,
I'm
it's
really
the
trying to figure out how to
I don't
do the
remember.
one.
My kids,
My fingers like don't do it,
I
but
know.
anywho,
I
it's
just look
like
like I'm making claws.
and
No,
like yeah, and I always do it wrong, and I'm like,
wait, you did it. You did it. It was that. It's that. It's that one. Yes. Okay. I was like, wait,
feels like so
how do
unawkward
you do?
though.
Yes.
But yeah, so in the right experience, like smoking's also bad for you, so whatever.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like drinking, also really bad for you. And
Yeah.
it's far more available, obviously, because it's legal. So I think it's just a cultural thing, and it's just about
Yeah.
my whole thing is just being responsible and balanced. So that's my
Yeah.
statement on that.
100%. So when you're curating a set as an emotional journey, what are the actual mechanics of that? How do you sequence for somatic release?
Love this question. So when I first started learning to DJ, so it's very tech. So everyone's got their own style, right? I am a very tech. So I think this mirrors how I am in real life. I'm highly cerebral, but I'm highly intuitive and heart forward. And the sweet spot is balancing that out. When I create my art, though, I am trying to always lead with the feeling, like, oh, this feels good. Whereas this song, this works, this is good, but it doesn't hit the same way. Like I'm looking for that visceral, like I don't always get goosebumps, but I'm like, oh, this is the one. And so I'll go with that because they both work. And then sometimes the one that feels really good is not, it's harder. Sometimes it's not going to fit technically in the most, it's going to be a challenge. Let's say I call it a creative
Hmm.
challenge. Um, but when I'm building a set, basically what I do is so there's a software that you do it in specific to DJing. It's called Record Box for those that don't know. There's a couple, but that's the one I prefer. Um, so you basically like think of it as like a giant iTunes library, but it's music that you have acquired. It's tracks that you have acquired. Um, and when I say track, it's like basically like the song, the MP3. I like to open, there's two routes. One, depending on the show or the vibe that I'm going for, I like to start out really strong. I admit it helps with retention. If you start
Mm-hmm.
strong and really heavy in a good way, like this is going to be the vibe. Um, it keeps people listening.
Right.
Whereas other ones, I like to start almost like it's like operatic, like it's really slow and it's instrumental, or like very ethereal. I'm very into like ethereal background vocal type things, or I like a lot of I overlay a lot of vocals of spiritual leaders like Alan Watts and various other people, but basically like where they talk about the universe and it gets you in that mindset of like you're entering like oneness, like it's almost like I'm
Mm-hmm.
guiding you almost shamanically through sound. So those are like two routes. Then basically what I do is like a lot of people do it in waves. It's quite predictable, but it also is quite sustainable because usually you're playing for 1 to 2 to 3 hours. So what you want to do is my mentor when I was starting, where I was learning, he was like, a lot of DJs, especially in techno, or like just more like when I say hard, it just means it's like less groovy and just more like party, not party, but just feels like a more like hard driving. Like it's
Yeah.
fast, it's heavy. You really your body like wants to move. There's DJs who do that for 3 hours straight. It's very, very, very draining on the people who are on the dance floor. Some people can do it, but like I went to my show last Friday to my muse, so like I was going as like a fan. Um, I'm not just a fan. Like he like inspires me and like reminds me like why I do what I do. He inspires me based on what he's playing, all that stuff. Um, he man, he went hard like almost the whole time, and I stayed for all 2.5 hours. Like
Mm-hmm.
I always say like I do MMA like outside of music like full time, and I've learned like you're not gonna die. You're just a little hot and tired. You can survive. Like you'll be fine. That's not for everyone. I am like a high athlete type fitness level, but like, so again, hydrate, take breaks, sit down. But I was like, damn, his name's David. I was like, damn, David, like, what the fuck? I like remember dancing and thinking, like, this guy is crazy. I don't like doing that because even me, like, I think just energetically and emotionally, like, that's just not what I want. Like, I want these parts where that there's breaks where you can almost integrate what I just did. And if you want, you can go take a little break and go grab a drink or a water or come back. Like the breaks are like they're really long, and then they help tell a bit of a story because I like finding music that's has like what I would call like traditional trained instrumental, like whether it be strings or like I'm very into like Japanese instruments. So when I find a song that has like the bells, I don't even know the real names of them, but like like bells or like string instruments, like I
Mm-hmm.
like including that because, and then it blends it. It makes it like more interesting. It's not just electronic because again, you'll notice, and even I'm like, oh, I'm noticing my own like habits or my own style in real time. I'm like a DJ and a human of like contrast. Like I like contrast a lot. I wear it like even in like I wear a lot of black, but I wear a lot of like pops of color. I wear a lot of metal and gold. I have a lot of tattoos, but I'm very polished and my hair is always done. In my music, it's super underground, but it like blends like traditional like music in there and also spirituality. And so I'm basically trying to pull you through, and then my goal usually is to end on, usually it's trance. Like trance is like it's from techno, but it's very ethereal, it's very euphoric. You go to a trance rave, every single person there you meet will be happy, the happiest they will be. They're such happy people. Like you will not meet someone who's in a bad mood at a trance party. The community, they are peace, love, oneness, and they're all about like they live life with a zest and great people. So that's what I try to end it on because I truly believe I do not want my parties ending in like I call it the underworld.
Mm.
That's my language of like my like kind of like mythology language. And a lot of my content, you'll notice a little bit of a tangent. A lot of my content, like in the captions especially, it's very poetic. Like it's intentionally like I write a lot of Anne Rice quotes. Like it's not me. It's that's the artist of it, like the artistry. It's inspiration. It anchors it in an energy because it's inspired by certain things. So like I don't want to leave people in the underworld. Like that's not a good guide. Your guide like should take you back up into the, into this realm and leave you on a high note. And that I think is what's key to somatic processing is like I can take you down to like an angry or there's a lot of like bad bitch. I call it bad bitch, where it's like it brings out your like kind of like your confidence, sensuality. It's very sexual, not like salacious, but it's just very like if you're, like sacral chakra energy.
Hmm.
And it makes you feel fucking sexy and like makes you move your hips and implies connection. Um, Maybe I might end it on that because that's like not a bad thing to end on, but it's never gonna be anger. That's just not my style. Like
Yeah.
anger meaning like hard techno or like there's certain genres that I have in my sets, but I don't end on them because I want you to leave being like almost like you've just like exploded. Like I'm like you're just like that was so like I'm so happy. Like I want you to leave feeling like you took ecstasy, basically. Not a bad thing. I feel like.
Yeah. And now you've said before that you want people to be leaving your sets crying, laughing, having amazing sex, or all three if possible. So what does it tell you about a set when that actually happens?
Yeah, like I think it's like and again, like you could have all three of those elements in like a set. It just depends like if what you as the listener are and it's not even conscious sometimes, like, but what you're gonna be receptive to. Like what
Hmm.
I'm very into like it's probably because I overthink everything, but it's like I try to like let my mind within reason like attach to things, meaning why did I feel so connected to like the euphoria versus this all this other stuff? Like why is the one thing that I remembered about this concert the sensual element? Maybe it needed some attention, maybe it needs some integration or like whatever. And then sometimes I don't care, I just say great, that's what I liked, and like I don't need to over analyze myself sometimes, again, balance. But that's just what I like. That's really what I want people to be like, that was so fun. Like when I have, it's a lot of what I say is like, I just am like a mirror. I'm creating what I like. That's really what it is. I want to leave a show being like, oh my God, like talking to strangers in the parking lot, like waiting for your Uber, being like, that was the greatest thing I've ever experienced. And it's just like one of many, but that
Hmm.
night, and then if you're with someone, like you're like with your partner or like you meet someone and you just like it doesn't even have to be that night, but you know what I mean? Like you're just like there's something that's been sparked in you. And then the crying part is you could be crying from joy or like just like maybe processing grief like after a
Hmm.
death or just a job loss or whatever, that's really like and then you could also just have had a good time. That's okay too.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so
I
that's kind of what I say. I'm like, you know what? If any of those are, I don't want you to come and going home angry. I'd be like, why were you angry?
yeah.
Why were you angry? It's not my music that made you angry.
That wasn't it.
Yeah.
I've definitely had talks with my therapist, especially whenever I was experiencing a really deep depression, because I was at that time, and I'm still moved by music quite a bit. Like I still will find myself crying to music, way probably more than most people. But there was a point in my life where almost any music would make me start crying, and the way that she explained it to me was it's because you're listening to what's happening in the music, and some it's taking you away from your baseline of being numb, and because you're allowing
Mm.
it to like enter you and you're allowing it to actually touch you, it's taking you away from that baseline of being numb. And so a little bit of it now is like, okay, well, I'm still connecting with the music. I don't live at a baseline of numb, thank God, anymore. But it's one of those things that it's just like, yeah, it really can touch something inside of you, even if you don't have the words to explain that. It doesn't have to be, you can be bawling your eyes out at something with zero words, and just you're listening to the swells of the music and it's connecting with something inside of you. You don't have to have the words for that. You can just let
Yeah.
it be. You can just let it be what it is. Or
Yeah.
you can, look up some of this somatic processing and make sure that you're, or the release of it, and try and understand it a little bit more. Like you can go either, there's no right answer.
Yeah, I think it's like you bring up a good point. Like, the one of the things that like my brain, like, so my first therapist ever, she said, it was very early on. She was like, "Have you ever just like allowed yourself to just be?" And I like literally fundamentally like could not. I didn't understand what that meant. My brain
Hmm.
like short circuited, neurons connected, like boom. Like I was like, I don't know what you mean. Like it made I felt like my whole life crumbled because I was like, what do you mean?
Yeah.
What are you talking about? And you're right. Like like two things. Like if you're interested in learning about somatic healing, great. Go devour those books and YouTube channels. If
Yeah.
not, doesn't matter. You don't need to do that. Just be and enjoy it, and just know that there's actually intention behind what the person is doing. It's more than just like, yo, I'm on stage playing stuff because I like being on Instagram. No, it's actually because like I love having fun and I like creating spaces for people. That it originally was like, oh, I'm doing this because it's really fun and I want to create joy. It's now like become like my why is much deeper because I
Hmm.
realized through my own experience in life, the power of something like this thing that I love so much is like so much more than just like getting a ticket to something. And yeah, you can
Yeah.
just enjoy it. You don't have to overthink it or study it or do anything. You can just like know that it's like a different form of medicine that is through play, basically.
Yeah. If there's someone who's listening who doesn't DJ or doesn't make music, how can an everyday just listener use music to intentionally process their emotions? Or what would you tell them to do on a Tuesday afternoon when things are feeling heavy and all they've got is their headphones?
Yeah, no, I love that. And like headphones, and like I'm a big fan. I've got like a Bose speaker on my kitchen table. Like I actually like how do I so I've it's so funny. It's like this is what came to mind, but it's interesting. I prefer when music is not in headphones. I feel like it fills your space. But if you're looking to like really go deep and like light some candles, lay on the couch or in bed and just like plug in and really, really, really lose yourself, that's when I love headphones because the
Hmm.
music is so much. It just like is in your brain, right? Um, if you're feeling heavy, like there's a couple things. Like I think back in the days to call it like like your toolbox, like your let's say for mindfulness, like what are your things like that you can go to and you can cycle through if one of them isn't working right away. Same thing, like maybe like so use music. Like I have a playlist called on Spotify that I made called like Peace, Love, and Joy. You put that shit on shuffle, or even just like the first song, which is Higher Love by Kygo and oh god, I should know the name of her. It's not Whitney Houston. Is it Whitney Houston? Let's Google. We're gonna Google this in real time because it's too good. Wait, I have it. But you could like pop that on and just like allow yourself. You might actually not feel joyful. It might actually make you cry, which is what you need. Let me see. Oh yeah, proud. Oh, yeah, proud joy love. It is higher love. Yeah, it is Whitney Houston. Oh my
Yep.
gosh, aim on me, Kygo. It's Whitney Houston originally, but it's remixed by Kygo, a DJ. Um, that song is like one of my favorite songs ever, and it is just so uplifting, and it gives you hope. And like I could listen to it. Also, you should listen to if a song is really hitting, you should listen to it on repeat as until the wheels fall off. That is at least what I do. Like I at the end of the year when they do the Spotify Wrapped, I'm like, you can tell I was having a day when it goes, you listen to I go 7,000 times in one day. Like, and it like has the date, and you're like, thanks, Spotify. That's when I had my, emotional breakdown, but
Yeah.
whatever. Like, thanks.
Spotify will
Or
call
like,
you out.
yeah, but I love it. I'm like, that's so cool. And then, but I actually recently read something that the music that you listen to in your like formative years, your like teen years, we'll have to Google this, but it said that it like helps with like easing anxiety because it's something that's so you like you listen to a song you haven't heard in 25 years and you know the
Yeah.
lyrics by heart. You're like, wait a second, and it could be any genre. So I'm personally like I don't listen to electronic music 24/7. I personally would go crazy. Like some people do, but I listen to a lot of punk music, rock and roll, like pop punk. It's like No Doubt. I have a giant. It's like right here.
Oh, I
It's
love
like
that.
it's signs. Gwen is my actual lifelong muse. Um, just yeah. So it's like listening to that. Like I forgot. Like I have a playlist. So maybe make some playlists. That's my advice. I have a playlist called Alt Millennium, and it's basically like Y2K, like like Taking Back Sunday and like, AFI and Good Charlotte, that kind of stuff. That stuff never fails if I'm ever I just need like a just some. I don't know. It's like and you know when you're in just a mood for something, allow yourself to just do it. Like um yeah, and it's like I think music, especially what we go back to, I think has seasons,
Hmm.
whether it's cyclical or just like for seasons of life. Like maybe you're going through a chapter that is heavier or harder, or maybe even like I've been struggling with like, um, I mean, winter in New York. You're on the East Coast, right? You're on the East
I'm
Coast?
in Central. I'm in Texas.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Well, I didn't know that my friend lives in Texas as well. Like I didn't know it gets as cold there as it does in
Mhm.
certain parts. I was kind of
Yeah,
shocked. I didn't know.
it freezes.
So
There's places that
winter
get actual snow here, just not
is
where I live.
crazy. I am not from the winter areas. I'm from Southern California, and so winter this year was really hard. It
Mm.
makes you nutty. It makes you feel cabin fever, especially in New York. Your apartments are like the size of a thimble, and nobody's outside, and so you start to like miss the inspiration of just walking around and being in life, and things like going to shows and concerts, like nobody wants to do anything either. So you feel very like alone and solitary and you're doom scrolling on Instagram and whatnot. You would think that's when I would create a lot of music. It's actually not. It's because I'm heavily lacking in inspiration and all that stuff. So it's like returning to like things that you like comfort, like music,
Hmm.
like millennial Y2K punk music, movies that you love. Yeah, I'm a big fan of like run those wheels off, like just like connect with what and make a list. Literally, it sounds so cheese, but like I spontaneity helps me a lot, like doing something new. So like
Hmm.
discovery, experiencing things, and I do most of things alone. Like I'm alone 99% of the time. Um, I'm trying to be better about inviting people that I think will like friends that will equally enjoy it and maybe experience it for the first time as well. Like shared experience. I love it. That helps me get out of like funk. Like I could be in a bad mood or just a funk for days on end and be like, okay, well, have you left the house? Like,
Yep.
and it sounds like you would think that that would be obvious, but no, I literally look at a list and I'm like, okay, like do these three very
Have
simple,
you
like I
done
have
this?
simple
Yeah.
things, medium things, and like big things. Big would be like go like see a show, or like little could be like leave the house and get a cup of tea or something and change the environment.
Yeah.
But yeah, so like I think music, like and electronic music, you can even now, I mean, Spotify or YouTube, like because of how all the search, all like how they help. There's just you can search anything nowadays, obviously. Search for like literally just again, be cheesy, be like music, like electronic music that is gonna help with feeling heavy because of this, and that. And
Hmm.
like you might actually find like Spotify might have a playlist for you.
Spotify has a
I
playlist
guarantee it.
for just about everything. One thing that I
Yeah.
will say, like you're talking about lists and making playlists that are going to help you and labeling them and with whatever way it's going to help you. But also, we've talked about this quite a bit. Whenever you're making these lists, it's I would say like if you're already having a dark day, then yes, of course, make your list now. But if you're not having a dark day and you're like, oh, that would be helpful, don't wait until you're experiencing anxiety or depression or something like that to make the list. Make it now. Make your
Yeah.
playlist now so that you can just be like, I already did something to help myself with this. So just like do that with
Yeah.
with the playlist, and if you want to adjust the playlist on the fly whenever you're having a having a heavy afternoon, that's fine too. But go ahead and make it for your future self. Do your future self a favor for sure.
Yeah, and on that note, like I do believe and we'll just just for the sake of conversation, like keep it like at least like not like too crazy deep in terms of like textbook style, but like it's like be mindful of if you're feeling dark and you feel like listening to dark music, do it. Like
Hmm.
there's plenty of research that says that that helps process that. But then be mindful if you're going down like it's letting you like take you down like and you know making you more sad or more depressed
Yeah,
or
check
more
in with
whatever.
yourself. Hmm.
Yeah, and be like, you know what? Like the way like your thoughts control your reality is what I was kind of gonna get into is like maybe switch it up. Like maybe you should not be listening to this right now. Maybe you need a little bit of sunshine in your life, meaning like just take it up. Maybe it could still be rock and roll and dark, but maybe take it a little. Maybe pick another song or a album or a band that is less where you're at, so that it can pull you up a little
Yeah.
bit, which I think is really important.
Yeah, give yourself like 5 songs of I'm gonna wallow a little bit in this feeling of whatever it is. I'm gonna feel it,
Totally.
and then I'm gonna switch to a different one, and then figure out where you want to go from there.
Yeah.
So I did look up the neural nostalgia is what that is called, where it's the from your
Cool.
formative years. So it's called neural nostalgia. So that's a really cool term. And then X Mortis Eat says I have no experience in it, but I do get into music a lot. I love going back into music that I used to listen to and new music. I used this to also follow some singers and rappers from R&B, and just kind of like getting into that Beastie Boys, T-Pain, DJ Irene, and Infected. Yes, yeah, absolutely,
Love
absolutely.
it. Yeah, I'm a
So
huge rap fan, by the way. Huge.
I've
Um,
I've got
love it.
a lot of different genres on my. I have one main playlist. It has like 1,500 songs on it or something, and I just put it on shuffle all the time. But it has a little bit of everything on it, but a lot of 90s because that's when I grew up. So
Yeah.
now you've talked about chasing a version of success that didn't fit anymore. What did that? When did that happen for you? What did the rebuilding of that for you look like? Also.
Yeah, it's a really good question because I think a lot of people, and so mind you, I'm coming from a career in working in corporate and
Mm-hmm.
marketing for pretty much most of my life, adult life. So it's been like dual paths because I personally am not into the whole struggling artist thing. It's not my life. It also you then create from struggle, and it changes your art. Fundamentally, there's so much content out there about it. Um, so to me, I was like, and I love marketing. I love what I do as well. Like I like a lot of different things. So for me though, I always and maybe it's because I'm an elder millennial. I felt like a long time I was running out of time.
Mm-hmm.
I felt like I had to hustle. I don't like the idea of a side hustle anymore. It's just like and a lot of entrepreneurs who eventually make it, they'll say it's actually not the hustle that, like, yes, you have to hustle, but like, you don't have to grind yourself to the bone mentally, physically, and spiritually for your business. I fundamentally don't subscribe to that. And I think that shift happened. It's ironic because I always thought that, but then I found myself doing it anyways because I'm just like, whether it be the way my mind works, the Virgo, I don't know what it is, but I'm always doing something. I have trouble with when I rest, I feel like I'm being lazy.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, but you've been resting for like 2 weeks straight. You haven't done anything. I'm like, maybe I needed it. Like that's how I've kind of shifted it. But I think like when you are in this hustle and grind, especially in entertainment, anything that is about putting yourself out there. If you're running an innovation technology company, it's less ego because you're really not like you're not the product. Like I am the product.
Yeah.
Like it's my music, my art. It's very like I've created and birthed. I treat it as a child. Like I am nurturing this, and so it's very it can be very ego forward, and I think given like the timeline and feeling like stressed about needing to make it or like just start monetizing there was a lot of things like coming in from all these different directions and opinions of other people, especially DJs and like their advice. So essentially I got into a position where I was just like, I realized through a very intense life experience that my ego was in the driver's seat.
Mm-hmm.
And I realized genuinely, like through whether it be you call it dark night of the soul, going to hell, and coming back, whatever we want to call it, I realized I was operating from a place that wasn't just reflective of who I am as a person. And I was living too much as the persona versus like me as a human being who is putting out art. And the reality is, so my real name is not Sebastian. Sebastian Siren is an extension of an inner creative. It's an expression of my creativity.
Mm-hmm.
Lady Gaga talks about this a lot. She introduces herself as like, you can call me Gaga or Stephanie. She's done interviews on this, and it's really insight. She's so insightful. She talks about her journey of like the divide, like what am I like at weddings with family, like I'm not the celebrity at the wedding. If I meet you in real life, I will introduce you with my real name. Like my MMA family, they don't know me as they know who I am and they follow me, but
Right.
that they don't call me Sebastian. It would be very weird. um, it would be weird if the person I'm dating called me Sebastian. That would be super strange because you're not dating Sebastian, you're dating me.
Right.
um, but over time, I've learned they're one and the same. Like, Sebastian's just not like a different part of me. It's like it's basically like managing. Like, how can you be on a billboard but stay grounded,
Mm-hmm.
stay human? Because I realize I never want to lose like what's actually special about me, which is like my heart and my kindness and my people are my favorite thing in the world. I could sit and listen to someone talk all fucking day long, and I just love connecting with people and just I want to put good out in the world. And so I think, and that ties back a little bit to the brand. Like I let a little bit too much of the darkness, the dark art, let's say, call it, take over. And I was like, I'm not this dungeon techno DJ. What the fuck am I doing? Like it was changing me as an artist so fundamentally.
Mm-hmm.
And I realized there was such dissonance. I was just like, there was static, meaning this like isn't me. And then, stuff happened publicly that you can Google whatever, I don't give a fuck. But it was basically a reckoning moment of me being like, you need to go offline. You need to find a therapist again. I'm actually doing what's called parts work. It's let's Google it again. I should have put all these books out. Work therapy book Schwartz. So I basically like had to reconnect with my why. And what's so funny is I'm in full time MMA. I train MMA like kickboxing and jujitsu full time as well. Um, and that has helped me through therapy as well, realizing what's your why? Like, why do you do what you do? And so the book is called No Bad Parts by Richard Schwartz, PhD, forward by Alanis Morissette. So that's a
I
good
love
one.
that.
Parts work is I don't know if it's new or new-ish, but it's a very specific kind of psychotherapy where you have to have someone who like is specializes in it. But you can find that when you're like kind of on those sites where you can kind of find what you're looking for. Um, it is a meditation based therapy. So that really hit with me because I meditate every day. I've been doing it for 10 plus years. Meditation, if I had to pick one thing that changed my life, it's actually meditation. Um, and supplemented with the reading and the support from a therapist. But parts work is basically tapping into the inner aspects in your psyche, and you through meditation and through your therapist is guiding you. There's actually in the book it teaches you. There's workbooks as well. Um, Instead of like if they're in one conversation, let's say I'm telling a story and I get really spicy and start being a little bitchy for like a little micro minute, and then I go back to like my chill conversation. That's actually an aspect of my psyche that has come online and has infused itself in the moment. So it teaches you about presence and knowing what is being activated at this time. And it also teaches you to accept it and know that that's a part of you. And here's the crazy part, it's so fascinating. These aspects in you, they talk to one another in your subconscious. And it's basically they interact with each other. And so
Hmm.
there's some, it's very trauma based as well. So if you have a specific traumatic event in your life, it creates what's called like an exile, and it creates protectors, which tend to be anger, fear, like really forward emotions, we'll just call it, power, loud emotions, let's say, or like negative per se. So it tied with it, it helped me spiritually as well because I was like, this is the same concept that I practice, which is balancing your dark and your light because dark isn't negative. It's just an aspect
Hmm.
on the same spectrum, in my opinion. Like my tattoo is exactly that. It's an angel like reaching out to the demon, like the fallen, um, which creates harmony. So I've been practicing this therapy modality for like a year now, and it's not for everyone. One could call it like advanced, but it essentially like helped me figure out like what are the parts in me that made me feel like I needed that just naturally became so egoic. Like the ego is
Hmm.
not a bad thing. Like even living in LA and New York, a little bit of healthy ego is essential to any public persona. But it's knowing how to like when it's like starting to take too much of the steering wheel and just again reconnecting with your why. Like I just want to make people feel good and to create really beautiful experiences, and it's so much more than DJing. It's I want to eventually have like community type parties. I say parties is whatever. Like if you go to a barbecue, it's a fucking party, you know? I want everyone there to feel like sunshine. I want everyone there to feel like really good people who are like leveling up in any way, shape, or form, big or small. And you could literally meet a new friend there and everyone's having a good time and feels embodied, whether they're at the start of their like healing journey or like very well along and is like an example in terms of like where you can like grow into as like an integrated healthy individual. That's like my actual vision for this
Hmm.
whole thing. And if I didn't have that shitty egoic experience, I would not honestly have reconnected with like my purpose. And so it's quite ironic. The universe has a sick sense of humor, in my opinion, but it also is just about like, yeah, reconnecting and staying, creating more lists. Like, how do I stay grounded? And part of that is MMA, actually, believe it or not. I do it every single day. I did it right before I came home to do this, actually.
I was at a jujitsu, not for myself. I don't do jujitsu, but my son does. So my 12-year-old, we're there 3 or 4 nights a week.
Oh, jiu-jitsu, I'm still learning to love it. It's super intense, but
Yeah.
kickboxing is my jam.
He does jujitsu, he does judo, and he we would be there more days a week, but he doesn't like doing no gi, so he only goes on gi days. So
Oh,
he's
I love
he's
judo. How
he's in
fun.
there as much as he can be.
Also, good people. I've noticed
Yes.
MMA martial arts is I. It took me 38 years to find my community, and I would have never expected it to be in an MMA school.
Yeah, I love that. No, his gym, I was actually just talking about this tonight. His gym, the family that runs his gym, like you can tell how much they care about not just the kids who come there, but just the community in general. So,
Yeah,
it's fantastic. Yeah, you gotta find the things that fill your cup. You gotta, and that's different for everybody.
exactly.
It's not jujitsu for me. I'll tell you that. But it is other things for me, like painting, doing creative things. Like that's what fills my cup. And so you gotta find what works for you. And I think a lot of the work that you've done, you might not, had you not gone through what you went through, you might not have done this particular work. You might not have looked into this
Mm,
particular thing. And so I'm a strong believer that not that everything you're meant to go through everything. Like, of course, I think the bullshit in life doesn't need to happen, but it does. And the fact that you
yeah,
survived through it, you lived through it, and you learned from it, that's what you can really take away. So I think that there's always something you can learn from a situation. There's always something you can learn from what you've gone through. And that's, it sounds like that's what you've really kind of taken and done with it.
Yeah, it's so true.
I know that nightlife glamorizes excess and endurance. So how did that culture in general affect your mental health? And did you really start pushing back against that at this particular time, or was there something else that kind of drove that for you?
I think in general, like, so for example, even before it's been a year since like I had my like pause, we'll call it. Intentional. Again, intentional is a theme that you'll like hear me say a lot
Yeah.
about pretty much everything, even personally. Like if you hung out with me and talked. Um, like the past 3 years or so, I've been reevaluating my relationship with alcohol. Not because it's like I'm like, am I getting old? Am I like where is this thought coming from? And it's like I actually when I was learning to DJ, I stopped drinking for like 6 months. It was supposed to be three, but I decided to do six because like I genuinely do like to have a good time and I don't demonize like alcohol or anything like that. But like in a city like New York, and I've lived here almost 5 years, like I think the first 2 or 3, it's kind of like adult playground. So there's just something to do 7 nights a week, literally. So you get kind of like wrapped up in that, but it's not really wrapped up. It's because you're just like, it's like I got like intoxicated on excitement and socializing, and I had no friends here. So it's like, you got to leave the house to make friends for the most part in the cities you live in. Not always. There's obviously I'm heavy on digital as well, but I'm very very deeply into like in person, and I'm also like looking to date and all that good stuff. But for me, I was like, I actually reevaluated my relationship with going out, meaning like especially electronic. Um, if I'm with a group of friends, again, intentional. If we're with a group of friends and we're there to actually go and stay all night long and we're there to hang out and it's like a bonding experience. Because nowadays, like to hang out with most friends, you got to schedule them 3 weeks out. You know what I mean? Like it's
That's true.
so irritating. So irritating. I'm the type where I just deeply desire friends that live near me where it's like, hey, come over. Like I really miss that and just hang
Hmm.
out and do nothing or like cook or just whatever or make music. But I now can go, I go.
Uh-oh, I think I might have lost audio. Mm, hang on. Okay. All right. This happened before with Riverside, and I'm trying to remember how I fixed it. Hold on. Can you hear me? Okay. I can't hear you, and I think it's a Riverside thing. Let's see. I'm going to try stopping the recording, and I'll restart it. Give me just a second. I had this issue last time I used Riverside, and I'm not sure what the deal was. Okay, let's see if I can hear you now. It still can't. Can you try switching your mic to something different and switching it back just in Riverside? That's what fixed it last time. uh, looks like you're muted.
How about now?
Now I've got you back. I don't know
That
what the
works.
deal
I
is.
did that. It was like the other option was like Microsoft Teams, and I was like, all right, like that works. So yeah, it
Yeah.
worked. Yay!
All right, let me just hit this again. That's frustrating because the same thing happened last time I used Riverside to record, and I'm like, man, you can't do that to me. You can't go
So
and
weird.
just
Oh well,
because
just like you said,
I know,
technology.
like, look, technology messes up, but also it won't let you change your mic while I'm recording. So I have to stop the
So annoying.
recording and restart it. It's so silly. Anyway,
So
I'll
like,
have to I'll
there's
have to look
brother
into that.
Riverside.
It's fine though.
No, it happens.
Oh,
But yeah, like it's just kind of like I think again it goes back to intention.
Hmm.
Like even like when you're, like let's say something like when I was in LA, and again I moved to a lot of cities, like I've moved around a lot over my tenure as an adult. And I'm like, okay, what's your intention tonight? Do you, like I would be mad about not mad, but I'd be upset I didn't meet anybody. And I was like, well, was that your intention? I was like, no, it was just to go dancing. And I was like, okay, well then you had a great night. That was your intention. So it's about just I think mindfulness and being like, what are you actually doing there? If your intention is actually not to party, then don't party. Like
Yeah.
having some discipline and self control has helped me a lot because I'm the friend where if you ask me twice, I'll usually say yes. And I've had to like really manage that a lot because I don't like feeling shit. I'm too busy and I have too many things I like to do. I can't feel like shit every day. Like,
Yeah.
I just can't do it. And like, yeah, I don't know. Like, I've also done things like where I'm like, I know that if I like drink a drink that is tastes like water, I'm gonna have like five of them because I'm not realizing that they're alcohol. And then
Hmm.
so instead, I switched to beer. I drink fucking Heinekens, and beer is super easy to manage. It fills you up faster. It kind of is just like I found these are like weird like party hacks, I guess you'd say. I do MMA, and I love DJing and I love raving. Again, the irony of life. I love MMA so much, and it's so unexpected. I physically cannot keep up with my training if I am partying.
Yeah.
I love smoking cigarettes. I quit basically in it's like a again on and off. Usually it's summer kind of bullshit because you're like in New York, and I used to live in France by the way, so that was a dirty little souvenir. Um, but again, no judgment. It's great. I love it. But I was like, yo, you cannot operate at the level that you want to if you are doing this. And so what's been beautiful is I remembered, yo, I went raving during the 6 month sober period when I was learning to DJ because I knew I've just trained myself like drinking is social and it's for relaxation and for having fun. So I am not the type to have a few beers and then go home and work and create music. It's
Yeah.
not it just doesn't work. It makes me tired. I go home and I'm like, I'm going to just relax and watch a little TV. And then guess what happens? I don't actually do any work. And I'm just like it's not going to build the life that I want. And not to mention like it's healthier. But again, trust. I will intentionally be like I'm going out with friends. Like my best friend visited for Halloween. We didn't even go to a rave. Like she's not in like she'll go every now and then 'cause that's my life and she loves
Hmm.
like them. But we just bar hopped and dressed up and and we got kind of drunk. And then that's actually when like one of the times I was having some weird pain from MMA, and I woke up the next day and I was like, holy shit, I feel amazing. And she's like, maybe you just needed to let your hair down. I was like, that's true. So again, it's like it doesn't need to be an every weekend thing. Um, I also, it's like I think it depends on who you hang out with. Um, I also decided like I don't want to hang out in dive bars anymore. There's nothing bad about them. There's a time and a place, but I just changed into like I hang out at like the W Hotel more, and I'll have like a nice cocktail. And if you've ever been to New York, cocktails are obscenely expensive. I don't care how much money you have; they are absurdly
Hmm.
priced. And so I'd rather have a nicer experience and then I just meet people that I don't know. I feel like I just have changed vibration. It sounds so crazy to say, but I just like don't enjoy it at all anymore in the way that I used to. And then because actually I'm rambling a little, but again, with balance, I truly feel like I'm finally in my body era where I'm taking care of my body.
Hmm.
And not that I didn't before, like I eat really healthy, primarily as a proxy because my body just like feels like shit all the time when I eat poorly. And so that bit me in the butt like around 28. And you get it. And any older millennial gets the
Oh yeah.
transition. But I just was like, I I've always been into, working out, but like this is I don't know, I found something that like is body oriented that I just like needed to. Everything has a cost. Like meaning,
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna do MMA 8 times a week because I go multiple sessions on certain days. Like I can't, and so it also has made my raving experience like much different. And like I was in Puerto Rico recently actually, and they have a different scene down there. It's so interesting. I went out to like their smoking area to get some air, and I realized I was like, wait a second, this isn't for smoking cigarettes. Like everyone was smoking weed, not everyone, but like a lot of people.
Yeah.
So it was a much more chill, still like upbeat house music, but everyone was like super friendly, generous, mellow, kind, like marijuana. And so like it's something that I never had experienced before because I usually would never smoke weed and like out and about. And I was like, this actually made me even more embodied and dance differently and just even more somatic because that facilitates it. But then also, I go out sober all the time. And what I realized, because they have these non alcohol, I picked up this, but this is water. They have this brand that's really popular in New York. It's called Athletic Brewing.
Yeah.
This is not sponsored, but if you feel like it, it's like bright blue, and
Yes.
it has like a very obvious logo. Or there's another brand called I think it's called Al's. It's like
Mm.
bright orange logo. It's like super obvious, like you can't miss it. And I was looking around and I was like, oh my god, like there's like a 30% of this room is drinking non-alcoholic beer, and it wasn't even January. And I was like, oh, like I felt less alone because I do have people come up to me being like, my friend, like, let's say I'm out with a friend. I'm like, you can do whatever you want. And they're drinking and maybe they're at the point where they're kind of like tipsy. And this girl's like, why are you out with your friend if you're not drinking? And I was like, none of your business, bitch. I was like, what the fuck? I was like, why do you, I literally just said, why do you care? That was my
Yeah.
inner monologue. My response was like, why do you care? We're having fun. Like, what's with the comment? And then
Mm-hmm.
usually when you ask people to repeat what they said, they won't. And so I was just like, get out of here. Like, what do you mean? And I realized I was like, actually, 30% of this room is actually not drinking. And a lot of people don't drink anymore just for whatever they, doesn't matter their reason. They just don't. And I actually felt less alone. And I never thought I was the type to care that I felt less alone.
Mm-hmm.
But like, I weirdly did because the scene, to your point, is about, I think it's like, it's held over from like our like 21 to 25 years where that's
Yeah.
kind of like what you do when you go out, and like it just doesn't have to be that way. And not that there's anything wrong. Trust, I went to school in San Diego and I will still go to San Diego, and we will turn up maybe one of the nights because it ends up being a nostalgic experience for us
Mm-hmm.
because we're like going out together in like the gas lamp and getting drunk, which is fine. But guess what, we all feel like shit the next day and we gotta
Yeah.
like have a quesadilla or five and go to the beach instead of going out and being productive or going to the museum like we had planned. We need to actually like now recover, which is a
Mm-hmm.
different tax.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's kind of like, I don't know, maybe I'm growing up, but like not really. Like I'm like basically young forever in my mind and spirit, but intentional. Like what's my intention
Yeah.
for tonight is really what it boils down to.
No, I like that.
Yeah.
And I know that you've talked about it a little bit, but you're passionate about building community and specifically without sacrificing well-being. So, what's a boundary or a practice that you've put into place that works for that? Something tangible, someone, especially somebody in a creative field, can maybe steal.
So I'll answer it the way I interpreted it. So in terms of community, so like my goal is to like bring people together, but like I have to be mindful of connect like my own energy, meaning like I'm super friendly, but like we're not friends if that makes sense.
Right. Yes.
Like I'll hang out with you, but like if I'm out with my friends, like I don't know, it's hard to describe. You got to be real with people, but you also got to be like after a show, I got to be like I always connect with people, but then I got to peace out. Like I don't hang
Yeah.
out to party. I don't. I like go home because it's work. The DJs who are not going to sustain, they or it sounds really tragic, but the ones who end up dying, it's because they run their
Mm.
bodies into the ground. Like that's what they're doing. It's like a rock star, same shit. You know what I mean? Um, But then in terms of like community and boundaries, it's like I'm overly exposed online. I've always been online. I had a Zanga, I had a MySpace. I met
Zanga. Oh my
friends
God.
on MySpace. I would be an early investor in MySpace 2.0 if it ever happened. Trust. I love it so much. Um, Facebook, Instagram, like just like you, early adopter on
Yep.
Twitch. Same thing. But I don't talk about my relationships. I don't talk about like my love life is off limits for eternity. Um, you have to decide what's private because
Yeah.
everyone's going to want a piece of you. And then in terms of like community, like my boundaries are basically like I'm doing this because I have fun doing it and I'm going to do whatever the fuck I feel like doing in terms of like the type of music I play, the type of podcast I participate in, the friends and colleagues I associate with. Um, that's kind of like what I interpreted it as. Like I
Cool.
think in terms of creativity, a boundary with myself is I used to follow like a million people just based on who I met and like DJs I liked, and then magazine, all the publications. No, it's noise. It's fucking noise. And then you don't even realize it until it's too late. You're comparing yourself to people.
Mm-hmm.
So I unfollowed. I think now I actually need to go through and kind of edit a little more. I told myself I would only follow people I met and know in real life, people that inspire me, and like my muses. And I only have four muses, maybe five. And then I follow a couple like one could call them like brand like business partnerships, but
Mm-hmm.
just genuinely because I love like W Hotels or Public Hotel, love them, and they have a series on electronic music that I like when I get their content. But other than that, I'm like sorry, like. And then my friends, like some of my friends, like I don't care if they follow me or not. Like I have a personal Instagram that's like so
Yeah.
off the grid, you'd never be able to find me. That's where I post. You'll like this. I decided I forgot when, but recently, I'm gonna post on my personal Instagram like it's Facebook 2009 and post.
Yeah.
There's no vibes over there. None. There's no vibes.
Yeah. Yep.
And it's like it actually has like been so beautiful to like just post because I noticed they were both the same. Like I was posting the same shit on both, and I was like,
Mm-hmm.
I don't need to be posting the photo shoot on my personal one. Like they can go look at it on my brand or my like public one. Because for me, it was about telling the stories about like my night out or my lunch with a friend I haven't seen in a long time. Because I don't know about you, but my friends, my true family, my chosen family, my tribe, we're spread to the wind. We are all over the
Yes.
world, and
Yep.
it's sad in like in a beautiful way, but it's beautiful because now I get to travel all over the world if I want to crash on their couch. But it's hard. They don't live here, and so I actually am a huge fan of social media because you get to keep in touch with people that I genuinely haven't seen in like 20 years, but I know
Yeah.
everything about personal life.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
do the same thing except for I just still do it on Facebook. Like I have a podcast Facebook, but I also have a personal Facebook. I do all of I still treat Facebook like it's 2009. I still post all the little like, oh, this funny thing my kid said. I don't post any of that for the podcast. And I
yeah,
generally don't even post my podcast content on my personal page anymore. I did for a little bit. Same thing. I did that for a little
same.
bit and then I was like, you know what? The people who I care about knowing about the podcast stuff are already supporting me. That's all I care about.
Yeah,
Everyone else is here for kid pictures. So
exactly. I realize I'm like I don't even talk about um it's like they're not your audience, they're not our audience.
yes, yeah,
So I realized I'm
exactly.
like whatever, like your
Yep.
super tight knit friends, of course they're gonna like be your
Yes.
cheerleaders, but, like they're not my audience. It's
Yeah.
fine.
Yep,
Anything in
100%.
this is algorithm.
Yes. It's true. That's true. So, if there's someone who's listening right now and they're in kind of a dark season or they're having a dark day with ego or overextension or feeling like they've lost themselves, what do you want them to know?
I think uh, uh, first thing to come to mind. I'm a big fan of saying what comes to mind generally is there's a reason that this is happening because it's going to turn out to be something great for you in terms of like you're becoming. It sounds so abstract, but it's just like the tough times in life, like whether it's we'll call it, I don't want to call it a curse, but like my curse has been like walking through fire a handful of times in life. It has always made my life exponentially better despite the unfortunate journey through the underworld, whether through external experiences or like internal or self-inflicted or things that you did that you're really like kind of fucked shit up for a bit. You can grow from anything. You just have to commit to like wanting to grow. And again, you don't even need to know what's going on. Like just the awareness, and I feel like most therapists will say this, just the awareness of wanting or thinking something is off is like 80% of the journey. Like
Hmm.
being conscious of something needs to change. Like just the awareness of I don't know what it is, but something's not working. That is, I swear to you, that is, you are pretty much like there's actually light at the end of the tunnel after you have had that feeling because you actually now are aware. Like you turn on the light in a way.
Yeah.
And then just like I'm a huge fan and believer in just being kind with to yourself and patient. I'm in a journey of patience right now. My mind and my life moves at like a mile a second, and that's not how life and emotional processing and growth happens. It happens in it's non-linear in the most ridiculous way. It'll happen really fast or really slow, and it'll have detours and I've learned it's a spiral. You'll oftentimes revisit the same bullshit that you thought you processed in a different way, in a new way. And so I think it's like having your close friends. I'm like a very, very, very private person despite the public persona. I'm not the best at like I'm also very deep. I'm very, very watery, very deep in my emotions and in my mind, but I'm not the best at reaching out to friends when I need someone to talk to
Hmm.
because I feel like I can just process it myself and with my therapist. But it's made my friendships even deeper because like your ride or die people like really actually want you to reach out to them when you're going through something like that. And then being open to having you might meet people who are on the exact same journey, like the exact same chapter you're in, and like making time for them to like just sit and have a coffee or whatever, um, and talk through or just hang out because it'll come up organically when you're hanging out, doing an activity, like even just going to the movies or something, or like a picnic when it warms up. Like you can learn a lot from each other because I think they were brought into your life to be a mirror to like grow together in a way and like hold your hands. And then you'll probably have a lifelong friend, or they'll my friend says they're like friends for a season because you just kind of like drift apart or move or whatever. But that is I think my like advice is yeah, just don't be too hard on yourself and just like connect with as much community as you can. And I think remove as many things from your life that are sucking your energy and pulling you into whatever the hell is actually like bothering you.
Yeah. I think that's a great advice right there. Just take the negative things, and if you can drop them out of your life, drop them out of your life.
Yeah.
So Bite Mark sent this question ahead of time. She would love to know, what is your favorite poem?
Okay, so I saw this question on the doc before, so I actually was like, oh, so what came to mind? And it's very much, I was like a little nostalgic. So I used to live in France back in 2009 and 10. So it's a French poem, actually. It is called, in French, it's called, I can drop it in the chat, but it's wait, let me look at it in English. I had ChatGPT. I was like, can you translate this in the most like because it's just like I speak French, so it's like it's so good. But it's called basically um like get drunk, but it's about getting drunk on life.
Okay.
Um so it's called Enivrez-vous, which means get drunk, like basically like imbibe. And so it's by a writer called Charles Baudelaire, 1864 France. So it's also very old. So it basically talks about, and it's, in 1864, if you were living there, things also felt modern and like things were changing, right? So
Right.
it's very like mirror one to one to today. So it's basically all about you should always be. This translation, by the way, does not sound as poetic in English as it does in French. But even if you don't speak French, you can read it, maybe get a vibe. I don't know. But like, you should always be drunk. That's it. That's the only question. So as not to feel time's horrible burden breaking your shoulders and bending you down to the earth. And you must get drunk without cease. But on what? Wine, poetry, virtue, as you wish, but just get drunk. And if sometimes, so it's a double entendre a bit. So if sometimes on the steps of a palace, on the green grass of a ditch, in the bleak solitude of your room, you awaken your drunkenness already fading or gone, ask the wind, ask the wave, ask the star, the bird, and the clock. Ask everything that flees, everything that groans, everything that rolls, everything that sings, everything that speaks. Ask what time it is, and ask the wind, the water, the star, the bird, and they will answer you. It's time to get drunk. So, not to be the martyred slave of time, but to be drunk without ceasing, basically drunk on life, on wine, on poetry, on art, anything that you basically think is amazing and beautiful, you should essentially consume it like as much and as often as you can, because like it's basically like the spice of life is what makes life, not and then it's relevant to not, there's so much bullshit going on in the world. Like you gotta like balance out everything you're consuming digitally and news and whatever, um, with things that like the beauty of life. Like that's what the poem is about, basically.
That's really wonderful. I mean, first of all, the phrasing of like you should just be drunk and then going into the going into the like take the things in that bring you joy. Take the things in because sometimes we don't take the time to go and do the things or to even just like look up something that you enjoy on YouTube and watch it or listen to it or whatever. Just take the time to do it and it that's a little treat for yourself. And
Yeah,
a lot of those things are free, so why not?
yeah, exactly. And it can be a lot. It's even nature. Like
Hmm.
I, since moving to New York, I didn't realize how much I would miss nature. Like I,
Yeah.
like who knew? So like hiking, parks. I'm really into the ocean because I grew up in Southern California, like beach boy basically. So I was like, okay, how can I be around nature more often? So in seeking those things out, and I didn't realize that until like 3 years into living here.
Yeah, yeah. Did you change much after you had that realization? What did you change?
um, they have like I started finding like there's parks, like New York's great about that.
Yeah.
There's parks everywhere, but you're super aware that you're still in New York.
Yeah.
I found a park called Prospect Park. It's in Brooklyn. It's bigger than Central Park, and it actually because there's no high rises around it, and it's so big, you actually there's like it's not hiking, it's more trails, but you can fully be immersed, and there's a lot of lakes, and it actually feels like nature, and
Oh,
just
that's
doing that
great.
and not having headphones in and listening to the birds, like literally laying on the ground. I walk around barefoot in Prospect Park. Like I literally take off my shoes and I'm barefoot for like the entire day. And I, it's only available. I mean, you can go in the winter, but like that's what I miss deeply right now. Is
Yeah.
it's finally warming up, and I'm like, all right, we got to have some park time, and then traveling. I never before traveled to like nature destinations because I lived with access to it. Whereas
Hmm.
now, like, I went to the Caribbean on purpose for a beach, chill, jungle vacation. Not even vacation. I was visiting a friend, but oh my god, it was amazing. I was like, okay, you need to do this way more often because you don't have it where you live. It's literally, I mean, I do, but I don't have a car here. Most people don't have
Yeah.
cars, so it's like I'm like the cliche where I'm like, what's out there? And like I've left New York with friends and I'm like, wow, it's literally pure forest. This region is beautiful, but I don't get to experience it because I don't have a car as much.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
We are coming up on the last couple of questions. So, folks who are here with us live, feel free to ask anything that you want to ask. Make sure that we get to it. But I would love to know, Sebastian, what is your favorite life hack?
Okay, I was having trouble thinking of this, but something just came to mind. So I am in a journey of and it's different for everyone, but um, like curating a life that feels like ease. So removing friction wherever possible,
Mm-hmm.
and friction tolerant. It's different for everyone. Like different things create. When I say friction, I mean like I'm considering moving closer to the city again because my commute is too long and it's starting to. There's nothing wrong with the commute. I've been doing it for 4 years,
Yeah.
but for some reason, it's driving me absolutely batshit crazy the past 6 months. And I'm like, I can't. I'm too irritable. I'm irritable. Like, why am I doing this? And I'm like, so now I'm weighing like, so I'm like, okay, shorter commute if possible. Like not doing certain things or I don't know, just like becoming aware of where my life feels like there's friction and figuring out a plan. And it's a lot of time, it's not short term. These are like, it's going to take a full year to like really get the friction out of my life. Because some of it's like where I live, some of it's like related to lifestyle, some of it's like friction, like I want more savings, like, certain things like that. And so, yeah, creating more ease in your life helps life feel more enjoyable because then you can focus on like the things that you enjoy. Um, and so that maybe is my life hack is like, and that also is very unique to everyone. Like
Yeah.
everyone, friction looks different for everyone. Um, and just being like what's really worth, like if you think about your life, oh, this is actually the life hack. Ready? Think about everything you do, consume, spend as energy. Like you said, the cup. Like prioritize a full balanced cup and your life will feel dramatically more amazing because you're basically eliminating waste, you're more intentional, you're only doing things that you want to do, meaning like things that you enjoy or feel responsible to do in a good way. And that has helped my life tremendously, but it's a journey. It doesn't happen overnight. It takes a lot of journaling, best believe.
Yeah.
But it has helped. Like it really has.
Yeah. That's great. Well, it is time for the magic moment. So I have a magic wand here. If you could wave a magic wand and eliminate one common opinion or misconception surrounding mental health, what would it be?
I would say that mental health isn't always as loud as people assume it is, and it's usually the people. It looks different on everyone. I think the best thing, yeah, that's like you remove the assumption that people that seem like they've got their shit together actually don't have like mental health things that they're working through, like behind the scenes, especially people who don't talk about it. A lot of people don't want to burden other people with their problems because
Yeah.
everyone's got them. That's, I think, what came to mind.
I got that comment a lot whenever I went through some really heavy things in 2017 and even a little bit before that with postpartum depression in like 2014. And whenever I started talking about it, like actually sitting down and talking about my story and really sharing more of my story with the community through the podcast, like all of these things, I got the comment a lot of the time like I had no idea you were going through any of that. No clue. And it's like, yeah, because I didn't share it. I didn't post about it. I certainly didn't talk about it. Like none of it. But yeah, I was
Yeah,
going through all of that. And it's
yeah,
totally invisible unless you are willing to talk about it. And I would love if more people would talk about it, but it, it takes a lot of work on yourself to be willing to talk about some things sometimes. So
100%.
well, Sebastian, I'm going to share your links one more time for folks who weren't here at the beginning so that they can go ahead and connect with you again. And while I'm doing that, I'm just going to open up the floor to you and you can talk about anything we didn't get to talk about, any resources, sites, or anything you got going on. So I'll let you do that while I do this.
Yeah, no, this is amazing. And so I'm still not on the front end, so I can't see who's here and who's commenting, but I really appreciate you like choosing to hang out with us on your Monday night. Like you have a lot of options to pretty much endless options. So this has been really cool. And but yeah, for me, I mean, my biggest thing is like check out my link tree. That's like the site where there's everything you could. I even have like a Substack where I write. It's not as active because I just write when I feel like writing, but the main thing would be like I think tied to what we're talking about. I would say check out SoundCloud. You don't need to go to Instagram. That's like everything and everything, right? But SoundCloud's where you'll actually just find like there's no vibes. It's the music. It's links. I try to describe how you'll feel. In by listening to it, I try to describe this song through emotion and how you'll feel, literally. And then there's maybe a bit of vibe in how I describe it. But that's and you know what? If there's something that you don't like, I actually have quite the spectrum of swim lanes that I like kind of play in. So maybe bop around and see what you'll like and or feel drawn to. You might not know you like it at first because a lot it's very different if you're not used to electronic music. Um, but yeah, check out my SoundCloud. I think that's the most relevant thing. And then if you like what you hear or like what I've talked about, like I still plan to do podcasts and I post also about mental health and as well as just like through I talk about like my perspective on creativity in general, like as like a philosophy a lot on my Instagram. Um, and so yeah, you can shoot me a follow, but I'm here to hang out with Mama Fox and just chill. So not here for the follows, but if you want to check out some SoundCloud stuff, I think it might be something new that you could try. That you might actually realize this is pretty cool, and then one day you might end up hanging out real life and coming to one of my gatherings, which would be amazing. Or Twitch. I'm supposed to be streaming eventually. I got to figure out the technical part, but it's amazing. I love it. I'm a huge fan, and it's a great community to be a part of. So thank you again, everyone. This has been great, and thanks to you, MommaFoxFire. Like it was so great. It was so natural, and like you're so great at interviewing and just not even interviewing, but like chatting. Like great energy, and like I feel very comfortable just talking about whatever. Honestly.
Awesome. I love that. I always want to make sure people feel comfortable. And I like I said, it's just a conversation and I love talking to people. So it works out. It works out really well. Well, Sebastian, this has been, I think, exactly the kind of conversation I started this show to have. It's been honest and grounded and genuinely useful. So thank you for taking the time out of your day to talk about just the idea that music isn't something we consume, but something that we can really move through and that can move through us and really help us process and heal. I think a lot of people needed to hear that today, and I just appreciate you sharing your own journey with us. So thank you for taking the time.
Thank you so much.
Folks who are here with us live, give me just a minute to disconnect with Sebastian and I will be right back. I'm going to give you guys a puzzle to work on. So make sure that you type !puzzle in the chat and you'll have that to work on. And again, thanks for being here and stick around. I'll be right back.